What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the SFS channel. My name's Gavin, and today I've got my final two lineup advice videos for you guys for the 2020 NFL season. I've got 5 must-start running backs and wide receivers for Week 17 for leagues finishing it off here this week. In this video, I'll be focusing on the running back position, so I've got 5 guys I think can be in almost all lineups this week, regardless of league scoring format, and players I think will be heavy contributors to championship teams, especially in a week without a guy like Dalvin Cook, who is obviously a top 5 running back play week in and week out. Obviously, the news came out this morning that he will not be out there this week. So if you guys have any of these players on your teams, you've got yourself a nice fill-in and a decent option. So let's not waste any more time. Let's hit the intro, and let's get into my top 5 must-start running backs for Week 17 and guys that can help you go out there and win your leagues. All right, my first guy up here is a player who I think is arguably going to be going in the first round of fantasy leagues next season after how he's finished this year off. I mean, if not a first-round pick, this is an early second-round player in 2021. Jonathan Taylor has been on absolute fire here to finish off this 2020 season. He has 5 straight games of 13-plus points and half PPR scoring, and this guy has realized all of his fantasy potential. I mean, he was pretty disappointing in that starting role for the first half of this season, but as of late, JT has been on fire. He really disappointed against teams like the Ravens when he had crucial fumbles and seemingly got benched. But as of late, like I said, over the last month of this season here, 5 games, he has been an absolute unit, an RB1, and he is actually the RB7 in half PPR right now. So a mid-level RB1 despite the play that he's had throughout this season. Against Jacksonville this week, I completely trust Taylor again as a top 5 RB play. I mean, the Colts have everything to play for in this game. A playoff berth is on the line, and obviously with it being the regular season finale, it's all or nothing for Indy right now. So they're going to give their best players the football. I think Jonathan Taylor and this team blow out the Jags, who have nothing to play for. Obviously, they want that Trevor Lawrence pick, and they're going to do whatever it takes, I think, to secure him. So JT, I expect the Colts to win in a landslide. Like I said, everything to play for in this game. They are going to be playing hard and physical football, and what this team is centered around is the run game, so JT is in for a big performance. All right, my next must-start running back is a guy who I think is a very sneaky play here, a very under-the-radar player, and a guy who I think can be a really nice contributor. I talked about in the intro how Dalvin Cook is out this week. I think Melvin Gordon could be a decent guy to step in there who is not a weekly must-start for teams. I mean, playing the Raiders this week, neither of these teams have really anything to play for except to build for next season. Both defenses have been pretty much trashed all year long, and I think Gordon has a good matchup here and can get things done. He has 3 straight 15-plus touch games. I think this is a guy who's versatile and dynamic, and we've seen him get a lot of goal line carries this year, and when he's able to punch it in, he gets a lot of points when he gets down there in the red zone and scores multiple touchdowns in a game. So Gordon's a guy since his time in Los Angeles with the Chargers who I've been able to see get the football and get it done in both the running and receiving games. So I think Gordon's a good play this week. I love the matchup. I think that if Denver can maintain possession and keep this game close, he's going to be a really effective rusher. And with a guy like Philip Lindsay, who's always dinged up, it gives Gordon some great opportunities. So I think he's in for another 15 to 17, maybe even pushing 20-touch game, and a guy who can go out there and be a high upside RB2 this week. And then another player I love this week is David Johnson for the Houston Texans. And David Johnson, we know he's not the same player he once was. 29 years of age at this point. He's had some injuries, but he was a beast in his time with the Cardinals, and he is looking pretty darn versatile still at this point with the Texans. He is playing really good football, back-to-back games with over 100 scrimmage yards, and like I said, that versatility is showing through right now. 2 weeks ago, he got the majority of his yards through the air and had over 100 yards receiving. And then this week against Cincinnati, or this past week rather, he had a really nice day on the ground and was able to catch a touchdown pass from Deshaun Watson. So David Johnson, I love what this guy can do here down the stretch. I think this week against the Titans, he has another great opportunity. That team just got flamed by A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. Both of them had nearly 100 yards. Dillon had 124 and Jones had 94 yards, I believe. 9 yards per carry on only 10 touches. So this Titans defense, it is paper thin. You can slice right through that unit. And I think David Johnson, like I said, this versatile type of back, he's going to be able to catch a lot of passes and have a lot of rushing attempts. And if the Houston Texans stay in this game, he is going to have a RB1 type performance. I think David Johnson is one of the better RB plays this week, regardless of scoring format. Obviously, PPR helps because you can get those added catches in there, but I think this guy, like I said, mid to high level RB1, to be honest, is his ceiling this week. The floor is really safe. Tennessee is playing for everything right now. They want a playoff berth, so they're going to compete. But if Deshaun Watson can keep up, David Johnson is a great play. Another guy I really like this week, and I think it's another really interesting situation, is Antonio Gibson of the Washington football team. Right now, this team, his biggest obstacle is going to be shuffling through those quarterbacks. Obviously, we hope that Alex Smith will be available to start this week. Otherwise, we might have some murky waters of whether or not he's going to be able to produce with some backup quarterback play. But Gibson against the Eagles this week, I think has a pretty darn good shot to put up some nice numbers. I was really skeptical about playing him last week in his return. He only saw 13 total touches, but was still decently effective with those. But now that he's got that first week under his belt, I expect him to be unleashed here in this game. Washington is playing to have a playoff berth, and they've got everything on the line. This program has been really good this season, and they are trending upwards and in the right direction, but they need to finish things off here, clinch that playoff berth in the NFC East, and to do that, they're going to have to get their best players the football when they are very injured right now. Obviously, they just cut Dwayne Haskins. Alex Smith has been banged up. Terry McLaurin was in a walking boot, and I actually had him in my must-start wide receivers list because in a game with such urgency, they need to give him the football, but we don't know if we're going to see him this week. So in the case that we don't, Antonio Gibson is by far the best offensive weapon on this team, and he's going to see a high amount of the offensive usage. So I love what he can do this week. I think Gibson is an RB1 play. I think that we'll see that volume go back up again to what it was before the injury and the turf toe. So Antonio Gibson, a top-end play for me this week. Now at this last spot, my number 5 must-start running back, I think this is a player that can either be really big in the hit category or he could be a big miss this week. It's Malcolm Brown of the Los Angeles Rams. And for me personally, if you have a flex spot available, I am 100% rolling the dice on Brown. Like I said, there is a lot of risk attached to this play, but I think the reward far outweighs it. I get flashbacks when I look at Malcolm Brown in both playstyle and opportunity to that of CJ Anderson back in 2018, I believe, or maybe it was 2019, when CJ Anderson came in for the Rams and filled in for Todd Gurley and absolutely just blew fantasy teams out of the water. I picked him up in a league and just completely ran through everyone in my postseason because he was literally putting up top 5 running back numbers. I don't quite expect Malcolm Brown to do that, but I definitely think he can be a top 15 to top 12 play with the Rams this week against Arizona. Not only is Jared Goff out in this game, so the Rams are going to lean even more heavily on the run game, but so is Darrell Henderson, who's been placed on the COVID IR list, and Cam Akers is a highly questionable player of whether or not he's going to be available for Week 17. So there's the potential that the Rams committee is down to just Malcolm Brown this week, and he might be the centerpiece of this entire offense in a game when Sean McVay's team is looking to clinch a playoff berth, and if they don't win, they could potentially miss the postseason. So Malcolm Brown, I think, is a very high-risk, high-reward play this week. Like I said, if you have him in your flex spot, I am very comfortable rolling the dice there, and maybe even for desperate teams who just lost Dalvin Cook, you could even put him in at running back 2, but he's a guy this week, I think, like I said, could put up running back 12 to 15 numbers. I think is a guy who, like I said, comes with his risks, but I think the reward outweighs it. Those were 5 must-start running backs for Week 17 NFL action and the season finale for fantasy football. If you guys have enjoyed my content this season and haven't already, make sure to go down, subscribe to the channel, and turn that bell on so you guys are notified whenever I come out with a new video. You guys, I cannot wait for 2021 fantasy. I think it's going to be exponentially better than it was this season. I can't wait to take you guys through an entire draft season with me and go through Week 1 through 17 again next year. I'm so thankful for all you guys have done for me this season. We're going to get right back to work here once this year is wrapped up and be even better for 2021. So thank you guys so much for your support this season. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys who have taken any time out of your day and supported this channel and community and growing brand. So we're going to keep doing this together in 2021. We're going to be even better, and it's going to be awesome. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.